we're back with Reese Trumper, Te Akau Racing Manager, here for another edition of Te Akau TV. Reese, what's all the news this week?
Hey, Hazy and viewers. Very quiet week for Te Akau. We've only had races at Tauranga and quiet weekend really for us. So next week will be a lot busier.
Nice. And Mark Walker's obviously in Australia with the Cranbourne stable at the moment. So the boys are managing the barn all right?
They are. Sam's got it all under control here, so everything's ticking over nicely.
Fantastic. Well, I guess another fantastic week of racing last week, and we keep saying it, but it keeps getting better and better. And that was kind of to the fore there at the Valley on Friday with Imperatriz taking out the Moya Stakes there, the Group 1 Moya, in absolutely emphatic fashion, breaking her own track record there. Not much more you can really say about it, Reese, but she is just getting better and better.
She's a superstar, and it was incredible to watch. Opie gave her a beautiful run, and she's got an explosive turn of foot, so it was really good to watch for sure.
And she's had a couple of quiet days now as she heads towards the Manikato there on Cox Plate Day, so a nice little break between runs.
Exactly. We've always liked to just space her runs. It is the key to her. So all steam ahead towards the Manikato for sure.
And there's been a lot of chatter around the Everest, but I know that the team's heading to the Manikato, but I guess she'll get a chance here on Championship Stakes Day, the last day of the carnival there, to race the Everest horses and really prove herself as a true elite sprinter of this crop.
Exactly. And I believe Mark's going to try and get her up to Flemington before the Manikato to have a look, have a run up the straight. So it'll be a good day out for her when she gets there. And that sprint race always comes up strong for sure.
And then the last race in the card there, I thought Zurian was absolutely travelling there on the corner and got knocked over a bit, was looking like it was going to run into the money as well.
She was good. She's a filly with a lot of ability, and Mick D will ride her in her next start. She races on the 21st, so it'll be a nice race for her, and she's a filly with plenty of upside for sure.
Great. Well, Rickerton was good to the team again there last Saturday. Mazzucato, the filly there by Tavachi, good to see her back on the turf. She's had put in a couple of, I guess, below par performances on the synthetic, but really enjoyed and relished the turf there and in the soft ground as well.
She's an exciting filly going forward. She'll be given her chance to get to the 1,000 guineas, so all steam ahead with her.
Great. And Trobian winning the Guineas trial there, a race that Te Akau's had a lot of success as a springboard into the 2,000 Guineas as it passed. He was really impressive.
It was very impressive. So he heads to the Watercree, and then after that he'll head to the 2,000 Guineas. But no, it was incredible to see him bounce back because it was only a fair run at Ruakaka. Obviously, the horse that won it looks to be a superstar. But he could have done a little more first up, so it was great to see him bounce back down there for sure.
And it's business time there for Windsor Park Stud. Continues his form as he progresses, I presume, towards the Copeland's Bakery Mile during the carnival there.
She's come up really well this preparation. She's a mare that's just got better and better with age. So she heads to Rickerton on the 28th for the Open 1400, and that's a Ballag's exemption race for the Copeland's Mile. And then she'll head to the Copeland's Mile and hopefully get in on the minimum, and should be very competitive in that race.
And there at Mornington on Saturday, a great result there for Fortuna Racing with Rubicon crossing the Tasman, not the Rubicon, for a hidden run mission there, and coming up trumps there on Saturday as well.
It was an explosive effort. Normally, when she was in New Zealand, she'd lead them up and be a bit erratic, but she settled nicely and her turn of foot was really good. So she heads to Moonee Valley the eve of the Cox Plate, and Opie will go over there and ride her.
Fantastic. Well, again, that's another showcase, I guess, of the benefit of having that stable over at Cranbourne when you can set them over there and they go over and do the job like she did there on Saturday. So lots of racing action this week. We're actually going to kick off in Timaru there on Friday before we have a look at Sans Doot, who goes around to the Valley on Friday night. We'll have a look at both of the local cards there on Saturday at Matamata and Hawera, and then our attention will turn to Skew Whiff there at Flemington on Saturday. So we'll kick her off there at Timaru, Reese, and we're going to start there in race number 5. Might have missed one there. Race number 4, the Kelman's on track today at PLR, rating 65 benchmark. French Rose draws barrier 10 with Lisa Allpress on board.
She's just had a little bit of a freshen up since her last start. She quite liked the poly. They've got a decent deck down at Timaru on Friday. They'll be racing on a very good track. So they'll be running good times, but she's got better with age. She does draw a bit of a sticky barrier, but she does have good gate speed. So I'm sure if she jumped well, Lisa would put her right in the race. And if she can keep her form, she should be a top 3 contender.
And race 5 there, the Richard and Bridget Preston handicap, rating 65 benchmark. Taliska draws barrier 14 with Warren Kennedy on board.
Unfortunately, he's drawn wide as well. He's a horse that we pulled out on Saturday. We made the right decision not running him at Rickerton. So if he jumped well, we'd have to go forward. He is a horse that we want to get to the 2,000 guineas. So he should be winning this race. And off his first start run, he was very explosive there. So he's gone the right way.
Great. And race 6, the John Snow and Echoes of Heaven at Clearview Park, rating 75 benchmark. Cote de Burn and Insatiable take their place.
Cote de Burn's had a bit of a freshen since his last start. Just didn't handle the wet ground. So he gets himself onto a better deck on Friday, and he should be a horse that can bounce back to some form. And Insatiable, he's drawn a little bit of a sticky barrier, but if he jumped well, I'm sure Warren would roll forward on him. He was really good the other day at Rickerton. He's probably still not just thriving in his work yet, but within a month his coat will be immaculate, and he's a horse with a lot of ability, and I don't think he can get beaten in this field.
Great. And race 7, the Michael and Matthew Pittman, rating 65 benchmark. Elegant Lady takes her place, draws barrier 11 with Warren Kennedy on board.
She's kept improving every start this preparation. Stepping her up to the mile is going to be ideal. She has drawn a bit of a niggly barrier as well, so she'll get back in the second half of the field, but she's got a good turn of foot. And as long as Warren doesn't get too far off them at the top of the straight, she looks like a top 3 chance.
Great. And race 8 there, the Central South Island Owners and Trainers Maiden 1600. Al Millie B draws barrier 10 with Warren Kennedy on board.
Disappointing last start on the synthetic. Get her onto a good track on turf, and Warren on again will help her. He's ridden a couple of placings on her, and the step up to the mile will be ideal for her. And off her northern form, she should be winning this.
Great. Race 10, the final run on the card, celebrating Far Lap handicap. Far Lap, what a great horse. Rating 75 benchmark, prismatic there. Pretty impressive last start at Rickerton. Just missed out there, coming second.
It was a great run from him. He's got himself into a routine now. Got down the South Island, didn't have many days to settle in before he was at the races. So it was a brave effort from him. The 2200 is going to suit. Again, he's drawn a bit of a sticky barrier, so he'll land midfield or just worse, one off somewhere. But Warren gets on with him really well, and he looks like a winning chance.
Great. And at 11:15 p.m. Friday evening, we see Sands Duke contest the PJA Accountants and Business Advisors handicap, rating 70 over 1,000 metres. In that rating band, this horse has to be very competitive, I would have thought. Race draws barrier 5. Opie takes it right.
She does as a maiden this time last year. She was running second in a gold trail, so that should be great form for this. And Opie gets on with her really well. She's drawn a nice barrier, and I believe she'll be a horse that'll really suit Moonee Valley. So we're expecting a really bold performance. She's arrived there safely. She left in great order. Sam and Mark did a fantastic job with her here. So we're expecting big things.
Nice. Over to Matamata there on Saturday. Race number 2, the Matamata Veterinary Services Equine 3-year-old set weight and penalties 1400. Superbly ridden, comes out of her last start performance where she clinched the win there in the room with Sammy B leading the way there. She draws barrier 1 with Kozi Asano on board. It's
a very strong race on Saturday, so we'll find out how good she's going. If she was to perform well, we could head towards the soliloquy and onto the 1,000 guineas, or if she runs below par, we can just lower our sights a bit and give her a little bit of time. But she's drawn a nice barrier. She'll be able to box seat from there, and hopefully she can have one run at them and get over the top of them late.
And race 3, the Comag Limited rating 65, benchmark 1400. Almanet draws barrier 11 with the apprentice Jessica Allen on board.
She was good first up at Te Rapa. I thought she hit the line strongly over 1200, so the 1400 will suit. Jess has got about 800 metres to get into a good spot from barrier 11. We'll ride her a bit quiet. She's a filly that's going to get over more ground in time, but the way she's been working, she could certainly be a top 4 chance in this.
And race 4 there, the Colchester Engineering Limited, rating 75, benchmark 1200. 3 runners, I Choose You, Kai, and Petrucci there for Trelawney, who was scratched there from the Hawke's Bay on Saturday.
I Choose You, 1200 metres fresh up, might be a little far for her, but her work's been good, and she's come back a much stronger mare this season, physically and mentally. So whatever she does on Saturday, she will improve off Kai. She was very stiff last start. She didn't deserve to finish as close as she did. She was 4 deep the trip and only finished 2 lengths off the winner. So she's going well. She's honest as, so she'll try hard. Petrucci, have a lot of time for this mare. I thought she was excellent last season. She's come back a much stronger mare now. She's spelled well. She has drawn wide, so we'll ride her quiet from that draw. Vinny was in this morning to ride her, and he was thrilled with her. But whatever she does on Saturday, she's certainly going to improve off as well.
Great. Race 5, the Ancroft Developments, rating 75, benchmark. Bella the Bull draws barrier 7, gets the 3 kilo claim from Jessica Allen.
Yeah, we've just changed a bit of gear with her. We've put the visor blinkers on, taken the blinkers off to try and get her out of the gates and added the blindfold. She was running second in an anniversary in January last year, so she's certainly got the ability, and being in a benchmark 75, she should be a top chance in this.
And Family Ties there, obviously won a listed race last season, draws barrier 14 with Joe Cameron on board.
She was very stiff first up. I thought she hit the line full of running without having too much room. So the step up to a mile will help. She has drawn out of it, so we'll get back from that draw. But as long as she's doing her best work on the line, we'll be really happy with her.
And Marlborough Bay there, 4th on the ballot. Are we likely to see him take his place?
If he made the field, he would, and he's going well. He's started to really thrive in his work. I didn't think his run at Te Rapa that the other day was all that bad. He is a horse that has a few soundness issues, but we've got him as sound as we've ever had him at the moment. And if he was to get a run, he goes terrific at Matamata, so he'd make his preference felt in this race.
Great. And wrapping up the card there in race 7, the Russell and Yvonne Green Memorial Open Handicap, 2,000 metres. 2 runners there, Stayers, Fierce Flight and Soprano Supreme.
Fierce Flight, I thought he was a good first day at Hawke's Bay. I thought he hit the line full of running, so the step up to 2,000 metres will be ideal for him. He's won at Matamata before. He does hold a nomination for the Livermore, so if he was to run standard on Saturday, we'd have a crack at that with him. Soprano Supreme, I thought she was okay the other day at Te Rapa. Her best work was on the line. And Joe's a good, strong rider, and being on the minimum, she'll be a chance for sure.
And over to Hawera there, the 4 runners take their place, the first of which is in the MJ Concept and Construction Limited and Evergreen Plumbing, 950 metres. The son of Castelvecchio takes his place. Cognoscenti draws barrier 4 with Michael McNabb on board.
Yeah, he's a beautiful son of Castelvecchio. He actually gives me on the bubbles vibes as a 2-year-old. He's a big boy, well proportioned, handles himself well. His work's been excellent, and his trial on the 1st of August was good. He has had jump outs since then with older horses and towed them up, so he's certainly a top 2 chance for sure.
Great. And race 5, the Johnny Neal Builders Limited, 1,400, rating 75, benchmark. Cognito, if he was to bring his Wellington Guineas form to this race, he'd be blowing this field apart.
Exactly, and his first up run was good. His form tapered off towards the end of his last preparation, but he was good first up at Taupo over a trip that probably didn't suit him, but his best work was his last 100 metres. So the step up to 1,400 is ideal. He's drawn a nice barrier, top jockey, ticks a lot of boxes, and his work at home's been good, so he was a chance for sure.
Great. Well, that wraps up the runners there in New Zealand, but we move over to Flemington in the Furphy Rose of Kingston Stakes, the Group 2 race over 1,400 metres. Skew Whiff comes out of the Tarzino. She does meet Princess Grace there, who has been running in weight for age company against the likes of Alligator Blood and Mr. Brightside. So she drops down in grade a bit for this race, Reese. How's she shaping up as she's headed over there?
She left in great order. She flew over on Tuesday, and Sam and Mark couldn't have had her looking any better than she left. So she's arrived there safely. She has drawn a sticky barrier, so how she jumps, I'm not sure where they land. I'm sure Ben and Mark would have assessed all the form by now, but it is a strong race for her to go first up, and she has a bit of weight to carry, but she deserves it. But like I said, the team sent her over in great order, so we can hope.
And the great thing about Flemington is every horse tends to get their chance irrespective of the draws as well, with the long shoot down there too. So that wraps up the runners of the week. An exciting array of runners across New Zealand and Australia. Reese, where are we going?
I think Cognoscenti at Hara.
There we go. The 2-year-old by Castelvecchio Cognoscenti there at Hawera on Saturday. So thanks for your time today, Reese. And any steer on who we can see down at the Levermole Day next week?
We'll have Puketero and Romancing the Moon in the Red Badge Sprint. It's normally a good, strong Group 3 race over 1,400. And the Livermore Aromatic will be there, and possibly Fierce Flight.
Yeah, we'll know you'll be going with your best bet next week with Puketero, no doubt. One of your favourites.
Exactly.
Cool, mate. We'll talk soon.